My name is Atticus. I'm here with Bligatory, and I'm talking to Russell Edling of Golden Apples. Um, Basically, we're about a month away from the album, Shooting Star. When did this whole album process start?
I think I started writing for it probably in like I don't know, summer of maybe like spring, summer of 2024. Um,
And not
Maybe,
that
yeah,
long
like
ago.
spring, and then kind of like wrote and recorded throughout the summer and the fall, and then had everything mixed by like December. I don't Maybe it was January, but yeah, it was pretty much totally wrapped up by like the start of this year.
Wow. So like half a year, pretty much.
Yeah, I guess I kind of was in like a mode. And like I had some ideas kind of had been floating around for a little while
Mhm.
before that. But like Breeze, I think, is a song on the new record, and that was maybe like the first one that I had written. But that was like, I had done a demo of that maybe like a couple months after our last record had come out. So, it's kind of like there were some songs sort of floating around,
Mhm.
but then I sort of got more into like writing mode. And yeah, I feel like when that starts to happen, it's best to just kind of roll with it.
Yeah,
Just-
just like something's coming
Yeah.
for the project. What's left before the album goes live to do?
Well, we're making a music video for another single that, well, I'm not personally making it, but it's being made. And I think it's going to be done soon because the next single comes out next Tuesday.
Oh,
So
cool.
hopefully it's done by then. And yeah, just I have a bunch of merch to print. And then we're gonna go on a little tour right when the record comes out. So that'll be cool.
Nice.
Um, yeah, kind of just making sure everything is ready for all that.
Yeah. Yeah, all the pieces to just get everything ready to go and get
Yeah.
everything out there. Um I was looking at the Instagram and it seems like y'all play a lot of shows. Um when you like when you record the album or when you recorded this album in particular, um is the studio process kind of just playing the songs live or is it more piece by piece?
For me, it's generally more piece by piece. I have a tendency to kind of like really go into like mad scientist mode and just sort of like dissect and tinker a lot. But there definitely were songs that were kind of more, like spontaneous, I guess, like Divine Blight.
Mhm.
My partner and bandmate Mimi and we kind of just recorded that one like real quick the one day. And I was like, maybe this will be a demo, but then I just like the way we did it. And that's basically the version that's on the record. And then um, there's a song called Fantasia that we did most of the tracking for live at my friend Dan Angel's studio. Um, but those are kind of the exceptions. Every other song was like pretty much like, okay, we're gonna do the drums and then we're gonna do bass and then, scratch guitar and stuff like that.
Mhm. With each of the like bandmates playing stuff, or is it mostly you playing the instruments?
Well, I'm not good at playing drums. So
Drums are
there
hard.
was always somebody else playing drums. And this record is kind of all over the place as far as who played on what, but
Mhm.
the majority of the songs, my friend Zach Robbins played drums on those, and he also engineered the drums for most of the songs that he played drums for. Because he's got a studio. And so, yeah. And then it would be me kind of doing like a bunch of other stuff. And then just depending on kind of who is around. But generally speaking, the band that plays live was not really the band that recorded, like
Oh,
generally speaking. With the exception of our bassist, everyone that plays with the band recorded something at some point. But it was like generally it's mostly me kind of like just slowly building things up and bringing people in here and there.
yeah. I also saw that you and the other bandmates are in a lot of different other bands. Like especially like some of the other instrumentalists. Like I was looking through the descriptions of stuff, and like each of them had like three or four bands after their name.
Yeah.
Do songs kind of blend in between bands, or do you find that somehow between all the groups, y'all find a way to sort stuff out pretty evenly, or do you kind of trade or like mix and match ideas?
Not really. I feel like usually there's like someone is kind of at the steering wheel in terms of like creatively for each separate project. I think everyone has a style that comes through, but like uh our drummer Melissa, I don't know how many bands she's in this moment, but there was a point where she was in like six bands at once.
Wow. Yeah.
Pretty crazy. And like I know for our record release show here in Philly, every band that's playing is a band that she generally plays drums for, but she's only going to play drums for two of the bands that night. So it's like that's kind of wild. And then
Mhm.
Mimi has a band called Eight, and I play in Eight, and Mimi plays in Golden Apple. So we kind of like, you know, but I feel like our sensibilities are pretty different um generally. So I don't feel like there's too much like sonic crossover, but I mean, one thing about the Philadelphia music community is that it is very like intermingled,
Yeah.
at least, our little ward of it is very much so like everyone's involved in everyone's records, and I really like that. I think it's cool.
Yeah. No, it definitely seems cool because everyone probably everyone wants to give their time to each other's projects, so it ends up that people have enough like they care about each other's projects and not just worried about their own.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's a lot of like overlapping investment, and I do think it's like one of those examples where, it's like I don't know, you like show up for a friend and then like they show up for you and it just I don't know, it just kind of like feels communal in a cool
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Um, One thing I liked in the little description of the new album was the quote about the describing the songs as like songs written about writing songs or songs about writing songs. Um, are you like a big demo person before the studio, or do you usually just kind of keep them in your mind and like play them and like you know them by heart, but do you do a lot of takes on your own beforehand and work out the kinks that way?
I'm a big I'm a big demo person for sure. And in fact, a bunch of the songs on this record are like weird hybrids of like demo tracks with like added live drums, which is like a really kind of neurotic move, I think.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I get this a lot where I'll make a demo and then I'll start from scratch. I'll do the real version of it, and like re-record everything. And then there's like something about the demo that's like better. So
Yeah.
I feel like for this record, there were a couple of times where I was like, you know what? It's not like the song Mind, which is like our second single for
Mhm.
this release. I did that with, I like re-recorded it and I like, changed it a little bit and then I just didn't like it. And so then we took the demo and Zach just drummed along to the demo. So like the vocals and everything for the most part in that song is just like what I had originally had in the demo, which is like sometimes I hear it and it's like, man, the vocal performance wasn't really that great. The lyrics are they're all right, but there's some parts where it's like, man, I maybe would have not said the same thing over and over again. But it just if I feel like if it works and if it's translating and kind of like compelling in some way,
Mhm.
just I'm the more I do this, I guess the more I'm comfortable with just kind of letting it be the way it is if it
Yeah.
feels right, you know?
Yeah, at the end of the day, like whichever one is the one you enjoy listening to the most, like that's got to be the one, it seems.
Yeah.
Um,
It's hard to like allow that to be true sometimes though. I think you feel like, oh no, like I can't just have this song that I recorded in like an hour on my laptop. Like it has to be better than that, But like sometimes it doesn't. I don't know.
yeah. Speaking of recording vocals and stuff, I feel like from the solid chunk of stuff I've listened to, you eventually have. Oh, never mind. I saw something just came up while I was raising my hand and it threw me. Sorry.
Oh,
Um, uh, it seems like you have kind of dialed in this like warm, fuzzy but not too distorted fuzzy like vocal tone. Um, that has a nice not lo-fi, but it's almost a little bit, it's not too polished, and I guess it goes with that sometimes demo-esque sound that you end up going with. But are there any specific like recording techniques that you would be down to share, that you
yeah,
and your engineers have found?
totally. Yeah. I feel like I've spent a lot of time trying to find a way to get my vocals to sound like Lou Reed's vocals in Take a Walk on the Wild Side. I feel like those his vocal performance, just the sound on that song, especially, it's like really, really crisp and really kind of dry,
Mhm.
but also just like I don't know. Yeah, it has this like really, it's like really close to feeling overdriven, but it's not. And I think one of the things that I can't stand the most about vocal sounds is when it just sounds like plain. I think like some people can really pull that off, but my voice doesn't work with that. Like I feel like it needs to have a little bit of edge to it.
No, no,
Um,
totally.
so yeah, I think one of the things I found actually have it right here. It's just this microphone I borrowed from a friend once and then I bought my own. It's a cheap microphone. It's a Bear Dynamic M201. And I have this little like thing on it, but it basically kind of looks like a SM57. It's not in
Mhm.
focus now, but I don't know. It's a pretty simple little mic. And I run that into and I don't have the other thing here with me, but it's like a Shure, it's like an old limiter. It's like a like a box like this, and it's like a limiter, and it kind of acts as like something of a compressor where you can kind of like like squash the signal
Mhm.
and but it'll keep it at a certain level so it
Yeah,
kind of gets that like that sort of almost blown out sound and you can push it to the point where it's like totally blown out but I like to get it like kind of right to that spot where you hear it breaking up a little bit and it just sounds kind of like from another time, you
yeah.
know? And that is sort of like my go-to setup. And then I'll put some,
Cool.
like some reverb or something on there,
Hmm.
stuff like that. But yeah,
Nice. Yeah, no, I kind of assumed from what I heard, but you're into the analog gear, um, and you like to affect the stuff before it goes into the computer. Like,
generally, I mean, it does depend. Like I do a lot of stuff in the computer for sure.
mhm,
And over the years, I've like done it a bunch of different ways. Like the first thing that Cherry ever did, which is like this band before it was called Golden Apples. There's like a 7-inch called Gloom, and that was all on a tape machine,
mhm,
and I didn't use the computer at all. Like every effect was just like basically a guitar pedal that I like ran through the mixer and stuff. So
mhm,
I do like to do that, but with this record and with the last one, just the nature of like working with a bunch of different people, like if we recorded the drums in someone else's studio, I would get like the digital files and then I would add to it. So I think like, with with keyboard, if I have the actual physical keyboard, I do try to do things like, analog, but I do I do use plugins and
yeah,
they are cool. And
no, for sure.
I feel like I don't know.
Yeah,
Sometimes it feels nice to just do the all analog thing because it feels like freeing. But I also find that I am really particular about what I want. And I know sometimes that like the only way I can get what I want is through a plugin or something.
yeah.
So you kind of got to pick your battle sometimes.
Mhm. Yeah, and at this day and age, like it's sick to use the gear as like your like initial, I don't know, or maybe not even initial, but like just it's cool to use it too, but
Yeah.
it just like recording like a full studio album would be kind of dumb to do fully through like analog gear, like without touching the computer at all. Like, I
I
mean,
mean, unless you have like the really nice, unless you have wonderful gear. I don't have a lot of that.
yeah.
So I kind of make the most of what I have. But I mean, damn, if I had like the works, maybe
Hmm.
I wouldn't use a computer if I had the real deal of everything, but
Yeah.
that's not possible for everyone.
Hmm. Yeah, and just like the challenge of it is wild,
Yeah,
editing and everything.
totally. Yeah, I've never been able to figure that out. Like the way they used to do things with like splicing, like I don't know, reading about how the Beatles made their records back in the day with like 4 tracks and stuff. It's just like unbelievable, It's just a whole other realm of mastery that I don't think anybody really has today.
Yeah, no, it's probably a dying art form as we speak.
Yeah.
Um, I also I love this activity that you just announced like a day or two ago, having people design one of one album sleeves, at your through your like, um, creative like visual art. Is that a studio that you run, or a little storefront that you run, or are you just involved in it?
I'm sort of involved with it. I guess I'm like a sort of co-owner of the art supply store. It's in Fishtown.
Mhm.
And yeah, we just do these things every Thursday. It's like an art night. So I thought like in the spirit of those art night things, maybe we could do something for the album to sort of have like, I don't know, just a fun get together to raise some money for, some organizations and just make some fun art. So it's like basically we're gonna have these paper like a cardstock sheet that we're gonna wrap around the actual record,
Mhm.
like the actual, jacket and everything, and then put all that in like a poly bag, like a plastic sleeve. So you'll still get the record and everything, but you'll also get this like kind of one of a kind art that hopefully people will actually show up and want to participate in. But
Yeah, it
yeah,
sounds really fun.
it should be fun. I'm hoping that it doesn't end up just being me making 25 sleep. But if it, so be it if that's what it ends up being.
What day is it on?
It's next Saturday. It's
Okay.
the 30th.
Cool. I live in Philly, so
Cool.
that does sound pretty cool. You might end up seeing me there. I'm trying to think if I have anything going on. Um, but yeah, I was gonna
Sweet.
ask, are you a record collector?
I am, but I'm not like a obsessed at the moment with it.
Mhm.
Sometimes I get into these like, patterns where I'll be buying like at least a record or two a week, but these days not so much. Although I kind of like on a whim yesterday I bought a couple Broken Social Scene albums off of Bandcamp because I was like, I had the CDs when I was younger,
Mhm.
and then my CD collection is just at my parents' house, and I was like, you know what, I want to have these records because those albums, You Forgotten People, and I forget is the next one just like I forget what the next one's called. The one that came out in 2005, but those were just like so huge for me, and yeah, I had to get them.
That's cool. Have you listened to, I'm not super familiar with that band, but I saw they just did a like anniversary version with a bunch of like covers. Was that
Yeah,
one of the ones you mentioned, the first one you mentioned?
I think that's the one that they had people do covers of because yeah, Spirit of the Beehive, who I know those folks pretty well, and I think they did a song on that, and it's just so crazy because like I know how much that band means to them, and like it's really cool that they got to do that.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. Um, I got one more question. And I had to ask this when I saw the name of the band, but do you know about the game of Minecraft Ultra Hardcore or UHC? Are you familiar with Minecraft at all?
No,
Okay, because
I'm too
uh,
old.
in that game, in that specific game mode within Minecraft, there's a very heavy emphasis on the item Golden Apple
Huh.
because it's the only way to if you take like sorry if you don't care about Minecraft, but if
Oh
it's
no.
like it's the only way to like regenerate health. You have to like make golden apples.
Whoa.
Um, so I was just like, is there any connection to Minecraft here? Because golden apples, I used to be a very heavy
Sure.
Minecraft player, so I was just like, there maybe, and if there is, that'd be awesome. But
Yeah.
um,
Not
don't
intentional,
know.
not intentional. I will say though, it's like the one thing about the band name that's been funny is how many times it's like it has like maybe reference something for someone that like I didn't really like the simplest version of how I kind of arrived at this for a band name was that there's a song by the band Country Teasers called Golden Apples, and it's a song I really liked. And I was like, I always thought it was kind of cool when like bands would name their bands after like other band songs. Like
Mhm.
so many bands have taken Fugazi songs and made them into band names and stuff. And I was like, that could be kind of cool. And then I also really like the band Silver Apples, so I was kind of like, that's kind of like an homage to them in a way too. So, but I've had so many moments where people have been like, is it like an apples in stereo reference?
Uh-huh.
Is it like I think there's like a poem by like Yeats that's like something like that. And I'm just like, no, but that's cool too, and it just feels like all those coincidences, they kind of they've got to mean something, it must be I
Yeah,
must be onto something, I guess.
you picked a good relatable name.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of the players in that game mode would call them Gapples. So I don't know if
Nice.
anyone's called your band Gapple or Gapples or
Well, the funny thing is
Gaps.
like I've put our band, we have like a practice space on a share and we have like a shared calendar
Mhm.
for it. And sometimes I would just write Gapples,
Yeah,
not even knowing
yeah,
the context there. So,
that's awesome.
but I'll have to keep that in mind now. I'll have to like try to because now that I'm aware of that, I bet you I will notice it more if people, say things like that. It'll be on my radar. So
Right. Yeah, no, it was a fairly popular game mode for a little bit.
totally.
Do you have a favorite type of apple in real life?
Um, I always get like kind of like the I don't know, like the boring looking apples, like I don't know.
Little pink lady or something.
Yeah, yeah, like pink ladies are pretty good, or like Honey Crisp are good.
Yeah.
But I remember being a kid and liking the the Granny Smith apples a lot, and like
Mhm.
Red Delicious, just like these classic apples.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I haven't really eaten an apple in a long time.
Yeah. I work at, we've got a nice selection, so come by
Nice.
sometime and grab one.
Nice. Do you work at the one in Center City?
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
Um, that's all I had. Is there any more you want to throw in about the album or anything?
No, I don't think so. Thanks again for wanting to chat. I thought your questions were great, and it was cool to get to. I haven't talked to anyone about the whole demo, the presence of the demo stuff in the record yet. So that's like a cool little tidbit that I hadn't gotten to share before. So thanks for that.
Thank you for explaining. And
Of course.
yeah, if people get some inside info before the album comes out.
Yeah.